Thank you, you.
Oh, what a difference a day makes!
Well, thank God PlayStation has console sales because they don't have any damn games. 2 more games was canceled from PlayStation first party. These 2 games were live service games. Jason Schreier reported, breaking, PlayStation has canceled 2 more live service games from subsidiaries Bend and Bluepoint, Bloomberg has learned. Listen, man, Bend is the developers of Days Gone. That game came out in 2019. And Bluepoint, they are the team that will remake games. The last game they made was Demon's Souls in 2020. So these are years, precious years wasted. And apparently Bluepoint was helping Sony Santa Monica with God of War Ragnarok. So it's still a few years of work developing this new IP. And let me tell you guys, they were doing God of War multiplayer game. Who in the hell greenlit a God of War multiplayer game? That's absolutely insane. Jim Ryan must have been smoking that good crack.
You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you?
How are you going to make all of these single player franchises all of a sudden multiplayer games? They tried to do it with Naughty Dog with The Last of Us. Now God of War? I understand they had some God of War multiplayer stuff with God of War Ascension, but come on, man, that can't be its own game. What the hell is going on, man? People always say Xbox has a mismanagement issue. Listen, let's be very honest here. PlayStation is mismanaging shit way worse than Xbox, y'all. Let's be real here. If you look at this chart, there was 12 live service games that Jim Ryan mentioned a few years back. They're working on 12 live service games simultaneously. You don't need to work on that many live service games at the same time. Arrowhead, which of course was Helldivers 2, that has been a success thanks to PC. Ben Studio game, cancelled. Bluepoint God of War games as a service, cancelled. Bungie Marathon, that's could possibly drop 2025, but we're hearing that game isn't looking too hot. Bungie Payback, cancelled. Fire Sprite, Twisted Metal games as a service, cancelled. Firewalk, Concord. Well, that game did release, but then it was canceled. Guerrilla Games is supposedly doing a Horizon Online title that still hasn't been announced yet. Haven Studios, Fair Games. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that game, but looks like that game might be DOA, but who knows. Insomniac, Spider-Man The Great Web multiplayer game, canceled. London Studios, AAA new IP fantasy multiplayer game, canceled. And they closed the studio. Naughty Dog, The Last of Us Factions Online, canceled. Now, these were the 12 live service games that they had from their first party studios, and that list looks pretty bad. Look at all of the purple, look at all of the cancellations, and ladies and gentlemen, we have to be real here. PlayStation realized they needed to do a live service pivot for their first party content, but the problem was they didn't know how to do it. That's why they bought Bungie for $3.5 billion, and we all know that has been an absolute disaster. Bungie hasn't taught them shit. Bungie hasn't been doing shit but canceling PlayStation first party games, and this is crazy, man. And I gotta be real, people want to make fun of Xbox. Just like 24 hours ago, 48 hours ago I should say, people was bashing Xbox about these financial reports from some website and said, oh yeah, Xbox Game Pass is doing terrible and Activision Blizzard is doing terrible, which was all lies. Xbox came out and said they're lies.
You're lying.
And a couple days ago, PlayStation Fanboys was having a field day with this negative Xbox news. But guess what? It's our turn. PlayStation canceled 2 more games from their first party. This is crazy. Blessing from Kinda Funny Games, he said, PS5 might end up at the bottom of the PlayStation console ranking when it's all said and done.
Oh, fuck!
Listen, I gotta be real. I have the PS5 sitting here. I haven't played this thing. I didn't even qualify for the game, like the year in gaming, whatever you call it. I had less than 10 hours on my PS5 because I don't play it. The PS4 generation, they had some games I wanted to play. The PS5, it's been a waste of money, and Blessing is 100% right. He's right. The PS5 is giving nothing. And you know what? Think about this, guys. When you cancel games, that is wasted money, wasted time, wasted resources. What's going to happen to Sony Ben? Are they going to become a support studio? Are they going to restart on another game that can take 5 to 7 years to develop? Bluepoint, they're probably going to go back to doing remasters and remakes. They were pretty good at it, so I'm pretty sure they're going to do remakes. But what about Sony Ben? I would not be surprised if Sony Ben got that boot. But this is what's happening. This explains why PlayStation hasn't had showcases for these PlayStation fanboys. They don't have enough content. They've announced Wolverine. They've announced Fair Games. They've announced Intergalactic. They've announced Ghost of Yotei. That's 4 first-party games. Death Stranding 2 is the second-party game. We understand that. This is embarrassing. The Xbox One generation, the second half of the Xbox One generation, they made fun of Xbox for having no games. Look at you now. PlayStation doesn't have any games. And I gotta be real, man. There are some PlayStation fanboys that seem to think canceling live service games is good because they don't want live service games. You guys are stupid. If you think that PlayStation canceling all of these live service games after they were in development for years doesn't hurt their bottom line, you're mistaken and you're an idiot. Of course, it takes time and money to develop games. And if you waste 3 or 4 years developing a game only for the game to get canceled, that means you're losing money and you wasted time and resources on a game that's not going to do anything but lose money, that has lost money for you. Then you see guys like this, good old Tim Dog. He says, that's good news if you ask me. Both live service games. Yoshida was right.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
That's not good news, Tim Dog. Do you have to hate Xbox so much that you literally cap for everything Sony does? Games that's been in development for years being canceled is a good thing because PlayStation fanboys doesn't want these live service games. PlayStation gave you guys single player games in the PS4 generation. You love those games. There were some good games, but PlayStation themselves realized we can't survive strictly on single player games anymore. We have to put our games on PC and we have to make live service games. But Jim Ryan, dumbass, he didn't realize it's hard to get a successful live service game out there. They got one with Helldivers, but it's hard. We've seen how many live service games have failed trying to get in the mix of a COD, of a Fortnite, of an Apex. Hell, even Apex has dwindled down. It's hard to get these people off of the main live service games, and PlayStation was dumb enough to be developing 12 at the same time. 12, and not just that, they had some of their big single player franchises like God of War, bro. Deadly Haley says they canceled The Last of Us Online, but they still tried to make a live service God of War. 100%. Who in the hell told them that God of War franchise will make a good live service game. This is mismanagement right here, y'all. I am sorry. But you know what's going to happen? PlayStation is going to have less games showing up in the future. The only big studio they have left that's making the game that we haven't seen is Sony Santa Monica. Now, let me rephrase that. Of course, we know Guerrilla Games is making a Horizon live service game. Don't know how that's going to look. Sony Santa Monica is making something. We don't know if they're making a live service game. Housemarque, they're making something. But think about this. There's two big first-party studios from PlayStation just canceled their latest games they've been working on for years. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Now you see why they're happy about Xbox games going to PlayStation. Shit, they ain't got nothing over there. Marathon may be dropping this year. We've heard Marathon is looking shitty from rumors we've seen. Some people saying Marathon might be DOA. Who knows? Fair Games. Nobody knows anything about Fair Game. We'll see what happens with that. But I'm sorry, man. Y'all got to be real. PlayStation isn't in the position y'all think they're in. Y'all think console sales mean everything. Console sales is cool, but PlayStation needs to make money off of software. And if you think about what Xbox is doing, they have a diverse lineup. They have live service games. They have single player games. They have games like Gears of War E-Day or Halo that have both single player and multiplayer in the same game. That's something PlayStation hasn't figured out. That's something they don't know how to do. And they're trying to adjust to this current climate because they see the Fortnites and the Call of Duties. They have those games on their platform. They see how much money those games make, but they only get 30% of what those games make on their platform. They want that whole 100% first party. They get 100% of first party games, but they haven't figured it out with the exception of Helldivers, and PC is 100% carrying Helldivers. But I'm not hating on that. That's a good thing. But they're trying to figure it out, man. So talk shit about Xbox all day. Xbox this, Xbox that. Look at your own shit. Look at your own house. Don't worry about the grass across the street. Look at your own grass. Don't worry about the guy's wife cheating on him across the street. Pay attention to your own wife. I constantly tell these PlayStation fanboys, worry about PlayStation. Stop worrying about Xbox. Y'all celebrating Xbox. Oh, their games are going to PlayStation. Xbox has a plan. You guys can make fun of it all you want. Xbox has a lineup that is second to none. And I say that every video intentionally, so you guys understand that Xbox lineup isn't just stacked for 2025, but for 2026 and 2027. It's going to continue. What does PlayStation have? My point exactly. Look, I gotta go. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you happen to stumble across my channel, you think I'm decent enough, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? And if you subscribe, please hit that notification bell to know what my black ass is doing some new content, baby. All right, everybody. Peace and love. Peace and love. Shit. Damn, man.